What up? What up? What up? How's everyone doing on this beautiful Wednesday evening? Man, so when I think about the guy we're about to talk to tonight, he's been dodging me, y'all. He's a runner. He's a track star. He's been dodging me since we met. He's been dodging me since we met. I've grown to love him like the little brother I treat him like. I don't be little boy on him or nothing, I don't be little boy on him. But he's like a little bro to me, man. He's one of the coolest, one of the fastest growing uh, high school coaches in the state of Louisiana, building blocks in his area of the woods. And he came from humble beginnings because he started as a middle school head coach and worked his way up the ranks. And I believe that he's earning the respect of his peers as every season his teams get better. Every season his teams become more fundamentally sound. Every year his teams become more intelligent. I just got one thing that I don't like about Chris CHARLOT, and that's that he keeps a dude on the sideline with him that believes in wearing skinny jeans. Prep News family, please welcome Arnoldsville's finest, Chris CHARLOT. Man, how you doing this evening?
Man, I'm good, but you about to get me in trouble, man. You starting off the show talking about my guy, my Raiders.
Bro, it would, you know what, man? It would not be a real interview if I ain't talk about my guy, man. Philip, man. I love Phil. Phil is the only dude I know in the world that can make some shorts look like skinny jeans.
Hey, he gonna see this and he look. I'm sending him straight to you.
Hey, he know one thing. I ain't backing down from no challenge, man. I'm not backing down from no challenge, man. Hey, bro. I didn't get to see you guys up close and personal this year. I think this is the first year in the 7 years that Off the Bench Sports and Prep News has been around that I didn't get to see Beauchamp. But you guys, I want to tell you this before we get started. Phenomenal season this year. And I absolutely mean it when I said every year since the year I met you, your teams get bigger, stronger, faster, and smarter. And that's just a testament to the job that you guys are doing there. And so
appreciate it.
Kudos on that, man. Since you're a beginner, since you're a first timer, since you've never ridden a bike before, tell us who Chris CHARLOT is.
Oh man, Chris CHARLOT.
Charlot, I'm sorry, forgive me.
Always mess it up.
Yeah, I always mess it up. Always messing it up.
Getting it right because you're trying not to get it wrong, but it's cool.
Yeah.
But man, I'm who you said I was, man. I'm the guy who's around my area trying to make big things happen for my people, man. Started out as a junior high coach, middle school, bitty basketball. Did that 10 years, man. And like you said, in the introduction, worked my way up. I've been at Beauchamp 6 years now. And this will be my 7th going into next year, man. We met, some 6, 7 years ago. I think it was my first year that we met. Just regular guy, man. Just love the game of basketball. Love giving back to my community, and my way is through the game of basketball, man. Trying to impact young men's lives through that game.
Hey, can I throw a brick at you real quick? And I'm throw a brick now, but it shouldn't affect our friendship.
Let's try.
You the only dude that didn't call and said, "Can I have your son?"
Well, I don't do the recruiting thing. That's why.
No, I'm just playing, man. You
just been on my team.
What y'all played twice? You the only dude that you just took that L, man. You just took that L in awe and amazement.
I ain't gonna even speak on it right now. Maybe eligibility. If I'm coaching college ball one day, I'm gonna go back and get him.
Right. Nah, no, nobody recruited Hobart, man. This is really
Yeah, right.
we got a lot of upstanding coaches in the state of Louisiana, man, and I adore 97% of them. You know, we ain't gonna get along with everybody, but I still respect 100% of the coaches in Louisiana
Right.
because you must accept people as they are
Right.
in order to be the person that you were created to be. No, everybody has flaws. Everybody has things that it's some people that don't like me, and I'm cool with that. But I'm not going to change who I am fundamentally as a man because that means that I would have to give up some things. So I'm not comfortable asking someone to do that, and I hope no one will personally ask me to change who I am fundamentally because my heart is so big I can love you from a distance.
Right. Right.
Uh, Tell us about what middle school basketball was like for you and what you learned from it in the process of trying to become a head coach.
Man, the middle school game is totally different than high school, man. It's a lot more teaching. It's a lot more light bulbs that go off every day. And even though high school is a challenge, it's fulfilling. But man, some of my best times coaching was in that middle school. Coaching those junior high games, man. I'm talking about packed gyms, the tournament. Sometimes you play 2, 3 games a day, just like it's kids, man, taking them out. You take them eat, and that's some of the best things that they've ever done in their lives, man. And that right there, to me, in a nutshell, was the best thing. Just hanging out with the kids, man, and watching those young boys grow up to be young men, and then seeing them go off into high school, and now even as adults now, because some of the guys who I coached my first couple of years, they in their late 20s now, because I started off coaching at 22 years old, uh,
Uh,
20 years old actually, but 22 was whenever I first started coaching junior high ball. And first kid that well, not first kid, but the two kids that actually got me into coaching, man. They was a football game at Beauchamp High, and they was like, coach, no, they just it wasn't coach at the time. It was like, man, you got to come help us out because the junior high coach that they have now, Coach Rich, well, who they had at the time, Coach Richard, one of my mentors still to this day, man. They was like, oh man, he said he ain't coaching us. He ain't coaching us. So I basically just went in, man, just to help out, see what I could give. I was still young, still hooping myself, see how I could help out, and just working them out a little bit, doing different things. And about 2 weeks in, we had games, and I'm talking from the sideline. About 5 games in, he was like, man, you can kind of handle them. I told you I got enough of them, and it just took off from there, man. But crazy story. One of the kids, man, Thomas Gilbo, who played for me for 2 years, 7th and 8th grade. He went on to play at Brynnan and did some. He played in college, BRCC, a couple other places. He went played a little pro ball overseas too. He's actually the head coach at the junior high where I coached him. He coached my son, who's a freshman now. He coached him last year in the 8th grade, and he's going to coach my other son next year. So that's how I came back full circle, man. I coached him in the 7th grade, and now he's coaching my two boys. That
that's
was cool.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, Not now, not within the now, and I hope you um, understand what I'm about to try to ask you. But as a middle school coach, you haven't entered the high school realm yet. Were you coaching from a place of experience, or was it from a I'm out there hooping myself? I'm seeing the game, I'm playing the game in my mind as the kids are playing it, and I'm disseminating information to them as I play the game in my mind, watching them play the game.
Oh man, a couple of things on that, man. I was so fortunate enough to have a great mentor, like I said, Coach Richard Gerard, David Richard. He coached at Sunset for plenty of years. He even was assistant coach on the high school level for a lot of years, man. So he really taught me how to teach. You know what I'm saying? and I learned so much from them. Not necessarily the X's and O's all the time, but just how to handle kids, how to handle, parents, referees, in different situations. So that was great in that space. As far as the basketball wise, the X's and O's, I always had a what I think is a beautiful offensive mind. So I was able to put in a lot of my offensive stuff. Defensively, I've learned over the years, different defensive schemes and things that I would like that we actually do now. But back then, I was just playing with a lot of defensive stuff. I had athletes, so we would trap a lot. Everybody should be able to play man to man, guard your man, get in a little help. That was my motto back then. When I played basketball, I only wanted to play defense so I could get the ball back. But then as I got older, I saw the value in playing defense, man. And still to when I was playing, man, I took a liking to playing defense. So now I instilled it in my teams now and did a lot of work getting better at it, and got coaches around me who know enough that can help me out with those things as well. But going back to when I was coaching junior high, I was still playing a lot of basketball. I elected not to play, college ball because I had my first son, uh, 20 years old, and then I was supposed to do a couple things. Long story short, didn't work out. Didn't want to leave home. That was one. And then once I started coaching, man, that was more fulfilling than anything I could ever do, myself on a basketball court. So it was up until I was probably about 25 years old, man. I had opportunities to possibly go play overseas, do different things, but I was content with coaching, man, and seeing the impact that I had on my community and giving back and using that basketball as a tool to help them become better young men. And now, man, like today, I'm truly fulfilled with my decisions on what I've made as far as when it comes to coaching basketball.
Right. Processing the things that you learn as an intermediary coach in middle school, at some point you said, okay, let me see how good I really am, maybe. Or somebody came to you and said, hey, man, it's maybe time that you try your hand at high school basketball. What was that like? And I know where your first stop was, I believe, but where was your first stop?
When it came to wanting to coach high school ball, I think it was always a dream of mine. And then I always thought, when the time was right, then I would. When the situation was right, then I would. I was never trying to rush it. So coaching junior high ball at the age that I was, the maturity level that I was, I felt that it was perfect place for me to give back to the young boys. And then when the opportunity presented itself, I thought long and hard about it, prayed on it, and ultimately think I made the best decision at the time. But I never really wanted to rush it. I wanted to wait till the time was right. And like I said, I had opportunities previously before I even took the first high school job, well, the only high school job I got now at CHENE, had opportunity, but never really wanted to, rush it. And then whenever the opportunity there presented itself, I did what I think was the best decision on taking it. And I mean, as far as high school ball now, I guess them past 6 years, man, it went by fast. It's part of the history of what I think is going to be a long high school career. Because I don't know if I really want to coach college or NBA ball, man. I think that this is the place, and these are the people that I want to do it with.
I hear a great passion, a great love, a great desire for your community, which is Arnaudville, Louisiana. Why does it mean so much to you to stay close at home to help the young men in that small town USA be better?
Well, actually, man, our school is uh, comprised of like 4, 5 different small communities. I'm actually from Sunset, and I coach at Sunset. Um, but Arnaudville and Leonville is basically the other side, and then you have Sunset, Frankenthal, Kington, Bellevue, all on this side where I'm actually from. But I mean, all of those I consider my community because I mean we're so close knit. And then whenever they built the school right in the middle of all of those small communities, it really brought us closer together. And it means a lot to me because I get to coach the kids that I know. I've seen them growing up from 5, 6 years old playing in a bitty basketball program that we had at Sunset. Knowing a bunch of them parents, being in class, playing on the same team with some of them parents, man. So it's just surreal to look back and think that, I was a kid walking those same hallways at Beauchamp High School and graduated, I guess, almost about 20 years ago. It's going to be 20 years next year. Uh, and just to see that I can have that impact on what I consider my people, because coaching the game of basketball is one thing, but coaching kids is the biggest thing to me. I'm only using basketball as the tool, man, and seeing my communities, thrive and be better just because of something that I'm doing is very humbling.
What was your first year like as a head coach in high school basketball, and how much of an impact did you think that you could impart change in kids that you were so closely in age relatable to, like that that sometimes can be a blessing and a curse, at the high school level in coaching kids that you were just maybe 10 years, 7, 8, 10 years removed from high school yourself. um, how was that for you?
Actually, when I got on the high school level, I was 30 years old. So most of the kids, upwards of 18 years old. So I was at least about 12 years older than most of them. And a lot of those guys I saw coming up. So they always had respect. Even when I was in my early 20s, they were 5 and 6 playing in bitty basketball. So that made a huge difference. Um, I guess, and just knowing the people. That's the first thing. I know a lot of the kids. I knew a lot of the kids coming in, and the ones that I didn't know, I knew of them, and they knew of me. And being so young, like you said at the time, uh, 30 years old, I was still hooping myself, so they could actually see me out there getting busy. So I was like, this ain't no old coach who's just coming here just telling us what to do. Nah, he really know what he's talking about. Plus, seeing the teams that I've had at Sunset that was very competitive, and I would like to think my last couple of years, especially my last year, I don't think it was a team in the state a junior high team in the state that was better than us. And we played some real ball. And that was one of the reasons why I thought that it was perfect timing, because those guys, my best team that I had in junior high, were actually going to be freshmen the next year. So it was an opportunity that I couldn't turn down. And like I said, I think I made the best decision. But that first year, like you asked about, man, it was some times, man. It was some times. Uh, I think I had 5 seniors that year, maybe only like one or two juniors, and maybe like only one sophomore, and the rest were like freshmen. So I brought in a lot of my guys, and a lot of the older guys were used to doing it a different way, and now you got to do it my way. And I was never that coach that had to say, my way or no way. I tried to blend it together to make them understand what I was trying to achieve, and understanding what they were doing. So just trying to make the best for everybody, not just coming in and saying, okay, I'm gonna change everything. Like, nah, this is y'all senior year, man. Like, I'm trying to make the best senior year for y'all without compromising who I am as a coach. And there were times where we, not butted heads, but we had to have those discussions, with head coach and 5 seniors sometimes. I can remember we went on a tournament to what was it, Sulphur maybe, and we lost our first game, and it was an ugly loss. And the kids, they wasn't responding like I wanted to. So we on the road in the hotel, call them all in. Let's talk about it, man. Me, myself, the coaches, my other two coaches that I had at the time, and those 5 seniors. What y'all think? Let's put it out here on the table. Let's figure this out. And after that, I think we won the next 2 games there, and we might have won maybe like 6 out of 8, maybe after that. And then I think we went on like an 8-game win streak after that, going into district, and we won some games, and then we got into the to the playoffs. The highest seed that we had at Beauchamp, I think we were like an 8 seed, maybe highest seed we had probably in about 10 years. So I think we did some good things that year, but it did take some time, and I think we won 22 games. But that year right there, man, it was trying. It was trying, but it was fun though. I never forget it. I wouldn't have done anything different because I learned so much. And even the guys today, man, they still come back. They come scrimmage my guys. I still keep up with a lot of them. You know, text messages, calls every now and then. We do our alumni basketball tournament every year. Where we stopped for like 2 years with COVID, but we started it back last year. But just to see all my old guys come back, and even some of the ones who I didn't coach in high school, who I coached in junior high, that's still my guys. I was always there rooting for them. So it really gave me a sense of what we use now as our mantra, man, just family. You know, everybody, we all got the same goal, man. We're just using this round basketball to help us become better people.
As a young guy, when I was into coaching, I built my fundamental principles came from my high school football coach, Mike Valerie. Uh, he just he was probably what you said you weren't, and he was do this my way or it's the highway. Uh, but in him asking you to do it his way, Coach Collins, Coach Stone, Coach Ainsworth, he prepared them to be teachers. Um, and so they showed you how they wanted it done multiple times, and then they expected you to just go out and execute it. Who'd you get your principles, philosophies, and values from as a coach?
Man, I'm a mixture of so many different people, man. I like to think that I'm a basketball junkie. So I'm all over the place, honestly, and I just mix it into my own. But like I said, back to what I was telling you about my mentor, he basically taught me how to teach, you know. And then myself, I'm OCD. I get it. People tell me that all the time. So I'm very detailed, you know. So me saying not my way or no way, I want things a certain way, but at the same time, I want to see it how you see it, so we can figure it out to make it the best way. And then the best way is going to be our way, not just necessarily me saying, "Hey, I'm coach, you got to listen." And these days, man, I know you said back in the day, those old school coaches, they could get away with that. These days, man, these kids, you got to meet them halfway sometime because their priorities are totally different. You know, if we play basketball, we play football, or what have you. You had to be on the team to be somebody. Nowadays, shit, you can be a famous person just by posting pictures on Instagram. We wanted to be around our fellas, man, the homeboys. We all played basketball. That was our hangout sometimes, just having fun. Now they hang out on Instagram Live and stuff like that, man. So we didn't have all that. But these days, you know, like they have options. Back then, we didn't have options. These you play ball or you be watching them play ball because you wasn't going home and so you wanted to be on the teams. So you did what those coaches had to say. Now there's times where I gotta light into them, and it's my way or no way, and be that a-hole sometimes, but I try not to be, man, because I want to make this fun. You know, I want to make it fun. But then whenever I do have to go to that mode, oh no, seriously, we better get it right. So I think that it actually helps me even more where I can let them be free. Because most of the time, man, whenever you playing free, you can do some things that you never thought of because you just hooping. But if you got a coach on your back all the time, just telling you you got to do this, you got to do that, then you can't play with any freedom. But whenever I do say we doing this, oh no, y'all know we better listen. So it works. It works that way, you know. And I'd hate to be that old school guy, my way or no way. But I'm telling you, you got to make this pass. You got to do this. You got to, and that's not even in your skill set, you know. Just because I can do it, I can't expect you to be able to do it, you
Right.
know. And you might be able to do something that I can never think about doing. If you do it, you better do it right. We good. Let's keep it moving there.
Man, I'm sitting here laughing inside at you because you just call them kids Instagram models.
Man, all kinds of stuff, man. So you see, they take pictures for everything, man. And look, we say this all the time. If you ain't posted, you ain't took a picture about it, nobody commented or liked it, it didn't happen.
Hey,
A lot of stuff that we did back in the day, we don't have videos for all that, so that didn't happen to them.
right? We definitely didn't have camera phones.
Right. You got to have some
Like,
receipts for these kids these days.
like, no, I'm just gonna put your hind part in the paint and show you how good I was.
Right, right.
Like, I don't ran through some kids, man, on that basketball court. They, and we like kids will look at you and be like, man, you ain't play no freaking fracking ball. What you talking about? And then you shoot the ball and it hit the bottom of the net.
You gotta make them believe it.
He did that.
You
No,
gotta make them believe every
I,
night.
I didn't do that. That was me doing my best imitation of you.
Right, right. Make them feel a little better about themselves while making them feel bad too, huh?
Yeah, because in this true story, y'all see this right hand of God.
Okay, here we go.
Kenny Almond was the head coach at EA. And you look at, again, judging a book by its cover. You look at Kenny Almond, and because he had a few days on him, I was like, man, Kenny, you ain't play no ball. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know how to shoot the pill. Kenny hit three mid-ranges in a row. Like, it was nothing.
Right, right.
It was like, you want me to do it again for you? I was like, nah, coach, you might know how to shoot a little bit, coach. I'm gonna leave you alone. I ain't gonna bother you with that foolishness no more.
Gotta make them believe sometime, huh?
As a young coach, was your ability to coach based on what kids saw and thought of you in the practice realm?
Um, I guess it kind of made it easier because they did have respect for my game. And I could also still model what I wanted them to do. A lot of times, when some of the older guys can't really move as well, but can possibly teach better. You know what I'm saying? Than some of us young guys because they have the experience. But I like to learn from those older guys, learn how to teach and give them what older coaches give, but still be able to get out there and model it and show them. Well, if my old butt can still do it, even though I might still look a little young, I don't feel it all the time, but if I can get out there and show you how to do it, you have no excuse to not do it that way or not do it the right way if I'm showing you how to do it. So it really did help, and it still does. Because I'm saying old, but I don't think I get old, man.
You won't get there. Just keep waking up.
Nah, man. I
Hey,
don't get no old, man.
I
I
thought I was
I
Superman.
stretch a little bit and get right,
At, at, at 38, I ruptured my left Achilles.
Well, I did mine at 33.
I'm talking about I played a lot of ball up until I ruptured my Achilles,
Same here.
and I thought I was invincible until that happened. Like that was my first real injury in my life. Like I had fractured my ankle. You put on the cast for 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, but a fracture is nothing.
Man, I tell you what, I ain't never been hurt in my life. I done had little sprains here and there, but I ain't never been seriously injured until I tore my Achilles some 3 years ago. And to find out you tore yours, the same left one, I don't know how I feel about that right now. You say I was ducking you and dodging you. Let me find out that was one of them days whenever you called me and I didn't answer, and then I went to my Achilles messing around with you.
Hey, man, I'm talking about. I sprinted back on defense. I'm playing in Kenner in an adult league, and we're in transition, and I spin. I'm at the right elbow, and the ball gets passed to the left wing, and I plant and push off, and the next thing I know, I'm doing what day is the Superman? Whoa, like whoa.
Woo!
So
I know the feeling.
it is.
It felt like somebody kicked you.
No, it actually felt like somebody had kind of stepped on my heel, maybe, but
Yeah.
no one was around me. The other guy that was back on defense was actually defending the other half of the court. Like it was like a 3-on-2 transition break.
Far away from you.
Yeah, like he wasn't nowhere near me. And I got a good buddy of mine, Travis Foster, man. They laugh at me right now every time we talk about it. about how I cried like a baby and didn't want to get up off the floor and walk
Nah, I
because
ain't did all.
I didn't know what the hell was wrong with me.
See, that's a crazy one. We just sprained ankles and done all that, but the torn Achilles, come on, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But I think that time made me a better person. It was actually during COVID.
I remember.
I had time to reflect, man. It helped me become a better coach too, because I had to get more into detail in teaching because I couldn't really move at the time. So I look at it as a blessing in disguise. Definitely wouldn't have wanted that blessing that way, but
right.
I mean, you take it for what it's worth.
You're in year 4.
Year 6 now.
No.
Oh, of my Achilles rupture?
No.
What we talking about?
So I have an infinity. I have an infinity, and sometimes I just like to get in it, take off, and go for a cruise.
Okay.
And I never know where I'm going, but guess what I always be doing? Driving. Can I drive?
You can drive.
Thank you. You're in year 4.
Okay.
You're in year 4 of your head coaching career.
Okay.
You have a really good team because you guys have done the work, and I only know this because at one point it looked like I was in Arnoldville every other week during basketball season, like Arnoldville, Lafayette, Lake Charles, Shreveport, Bossier, Monroe, East Ascension have been really good to me. I can never take away the love that you guys have shown to me. And so I'm watching, and I think this is maybe Titus's junior year. You guys are phenomenal. You're playing, you're winning. Not a lot of not a lot of losing going on, but tell us about what that was like.
Man, that year, right? That was the COVID year. I still think, that was probably my best team that I had. But we never was able to maximize that. That's the same year we had the big kid who plays football for Arkansas now, big 6'8" guy. That big sucker there, man, it never really got in shape. That Titus was a junior that year. Devon Drake, little potato, you remember him, the little small potato. Right? He was a senior that year, man. And I still said that should have been our best year, man. The other big kid, about 6'4" he actually was ineligible until February, man. It should have been January, but with COVID, we started school late, so we had to wait to get him, man. And that year there, I wish I could have that one back. If it's any year, I wish I can have that one back, man. Because I think if we would have maximized, our potential that year, we still trying to get to the top 28, that Final Four. But I think that would have been the first year, man. And
why does that year bother you so much?
That those seniors were my first group as freshmen. Those seniors. And I think that was supposed to be our best year. We had a very good year the year after that, which was, like you said, Titus and Devon Drake, those kids there, that was their senior year, but their junior year was supposed to be my best team. And that was the year that COVID hit. And we just never got right. We got quarantined. We could never hit our stride. We won some games. We lost some games we shouldn't have. Being in shape hurt a lot because having a big kid, 6'8", 320 pounds, we got to keep that big sucker.
Hey, he could move though, bro.
Yeah. You can see now, man. He looks amazing now. Like he look like a man now. Yeah, he gonna be on.
Not look like a man. He was a man in the 10th, 11th grade.
Right. Yeah.
But like he's what? He got to be like what? 21 now? 21?
Yeah, he got to be at least 20 because he's been out of school. This is his 3rd year out. Yeah.
So when you look back at that time, year 4, year 5, what could you have done different now that you're a lot more? How would you rate yourself as a coach first now, from year 1 to year 5? where would you say you are as an IQ principle, philosophies? Like, where would you say you are now as a head coach?
I would just say that I'm still trying to learn as much as I can. I'm always continue to try to get better, but I think now that I feel more comfortable and established, understanding the high school game, the ins and outs of everything, practices, uh, weight training, scheduling, like all of those things. Before I was just trying to figure it out, asking other people, advice and stuff. Now I think I have my own plan, over the last couple of years to where I wanted, and that's the biggest things that I think that I've gotten better at. But to rate myself from then to now, I mean that's 6 years ago. So 6 years ago, I think everybody should be better than what it was. Um, but I guess, like I said, the biggest thing is just more experience and continuing to want to learn even more.
There are general specifics, though, as a coach, as the guy that the wins and losses fall on. That I'm not going to say make you or break you, but sometimes because and again, we don't talk about this enough because we as coaches we hate to show ourselves as flawed, but sometimes because we won't allow our egos to just move a little to the left or move a little to the right and do what you say you've done. You say you've asked for help. Like, so sometimes coaches don't get better because they think they know it all right here. And,
Right.
and sometimes it's not about knowing it all right here. It's about being friendly. It's about being dedicated. It's about being loyal. And more importantly, it's about not being afraid to ask for help if it's something that you don't quite understand.
Right.
How can you say that all those little nuances has helped you?
Uh, I like to think, just the networking. I'm a people's person, and I want to get better. So, if any different avenues that I can get better, and help other people around me, and just bring good vibes to everybody. So that part of networking and knowing different people has helped me be able to reach out to people and feel comfortable and not feel like I'm being judged because I know I don't know everything. I want to get I want to get better, man, and just being humble, man. Just knowing, it's guys that's been here before me. Probably
Right.
not in my position, might not have the right answers for me at the time, but I can listen to how they would have handled that situation if it was theirs. And put it in perspective and do the best that I can for me and my program. As far as asking the question, I never had a problem with asking a question. I used to get it all the time. Man, you talk too much. you know, I, I used to ask questions out the wazoo, man. I used to ask all kind of questions. Now I don't ask a whole lot of questions to people. I just be on Google most of the time. I Google, I YouTube stuff. Like we just might be talking, and I'm like, earlier somebody said one of my kids, one of my players, he said he was going to live till he was 120. He was going to be the oldest person ever. And I said, man, they had somebody older than that. He was like, no, not that old. Grab my phone, Google 122 and 100 and something days or whatever. Like I told you, he was like, oh, well, people live. It's like, yeah, it's not many, but yeah,
Well, in the biblical days, people used to live 400 or 500 years.
right.
In the Old Testament biblical days, like, so longevity in life isn't new. We just don't take care of ourselves in the right manner to live that long.
Agree.
And that takes a lot of prayer, a lot of faith, and a lot of belief, I think, to get to be that age now. The oldest, I think they had a lady on social media last week that said she turned 109. I saw Instagram reel or on Facebook reel earlier today. A lady 89 years old, like running up an incline, and then controlled her running back down the incline. And the lady asked her like how she feel, and man, she just broke out and laughed and enjoying like, shoot, I feel great. How you feel? And
Right.
so that's living.
Right, right. That's not just being alive. That's living. You're right.
Right.
You're right,
Uh,
man.
when I look at your teams, I see kids that are really fundamentally sound. Um, how much emphasis and preparation goes into skill development and IQ teaching, and how much of that responsibility do you delegate to your assistants?
I tell you what, my assistants know what's up, man. They get it. They gotta work. I mean, you gotta work, man, and they don't mind. I only have two assistants now. My boy Phil, we got to get it in, and then Alonzo Walker, man, he came on with us last year. He's actually a paraplegic, man, been in a wheelchair. Shit, I want to say some 10 years now, man, and I ain't seen nobody grind like him. In the lab before, like he will get there and stay there all day with them kids if they want to work, man. And that's just a testament to who we are as people, knowing that it takes hard work, and who we're giving the hard work to is people who we really love and we really care about. It's not a situation where we're just going to a school and just trying to coach basketball. Like I said, our kids, it's the game of basketball that we're coaching, but I coach kids, man. And whenever you really look at it and put things in perspective, what else we gonna give to these kids? We don't do much else. We just basketball coaches. Like that's.
No, man, I ain't gonna fall for that one, man.
I'm just saying, like,
A
but
lot of you guys are more than basketball coaches, man.
well,
I'm not
what
gonna let you limit
I
yourself like that.
what I mean by that is we're not into the arts. We're not into singing and doing whatever cars and all that. We just all three of us that we have now. We just always love ball, love sports, and now we give it back to kids, man. What was your other question? You said, shucks, I wanted to answer that one. You said about the work. That was one thing, but another good
Oh,
thing.
how much do you delegate it to your assistants? How much do and I think you did answer it, to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
honest.
It was something else
Um,
that you did, though.
yeah, because again, at the end of the day, I think the coaches that try to do it all
Nah,
miss something.
you can't.
Uh, no, I'm gonna tell you, man. It's some coaches. It's some coaches that are that seasoned and that skilled to where they can sit back, they can stand back on the wall and view the entire court of drills. I've seen Coach Dennis Chandler at EA do that, and he's been 5 state championships.
Right, right.
Like there are some coaches that can do it,
And
but
not saying I can't sit back, because a lot of times I always say I let my coaches coach. So there will be times where we got groups where I'm in the top of the bleachers and I'm just looking down. But if there's something, that I need to, get into the details, I get into the drills and help them out a little bit more. But like I said, I'm not the guy who's just gonna try to do everything. Like I don't need assistance if I'm gonna do everything, and I don't have that much energy. Like I'd rather spend my energy other play. That was another thing that you said. Like the IQ. That was another thing. So one of my things is, while they're working in those drills, I may pull a kid off to the side and talk to them to make them understand why we're doing this. You know what I'm saying? And not just getting physical reps, but I want you to get those mental reps. So same thing. We watch a lot of film, ton of film. Our scouting reports are super detailed. We have sometimes 2-hour film sessions, to where we can really look at things. So that's why you may see some of the kids with high IQ, is because we try to instill that, man. And it's work that a lot of people, you know, whenever you do you see the benefits from it. I mean, every college team is doing it. So that's one of the things that I've always said. I want to treat my high school team similar to a college team. I treated my junior high team similar to a high school team. So always just trying to build for the next level, but also understanding you in the moment, and knowing that everybody not going to get to the next level, but still trying to maximize their ability and where we are at the time.
um, man, I'm laughing, but bruh, I'm gonna say this out loud. Uh, I'm gonna say this out loud, man. I'm a big fan, and I really enjoy watching you guys play. And one, I think the my favorite Gator has been Devondre Arby. Um, really, really special kid uh, that did his best to play the right way. Uh, when you look at it, um, Titus Thomas is another kid that, like, if you played Boshan and you didn't see that Titus and Devondre complemented each other so well, then you were watching the little 2-inch line that borders the court. One,
All over, huh?
one side of it says you're inbounds. The other side of it says you stepped inbounds. A lot of people
Right.
don't know that. It's really
Yeah.
no out of bounds. It's really, it's in or you stepped in.
Mm-hmm.
And so you were watching that line in the joy that they brought me. How much are the kids, because they graduated in 21. How
Last
much? How,
they
how
graduated.
22? How
Yep.
much have those kids that are left behind? How much have they learned from the way those two young men have played the game under your instructions and the instructions of your coaches?
Man, those two, they were basically forced into a situation where they had to play early. Because, like I told you, whenever I got there, we didn't have a whole lot of upperclassmen. So whenever they came in, it was a bunch of sophomores, um, and maybe one junior and one senior at the time. So mid-season, they were forced to be starters. And fortunate enough, they were good enough to handle it, but making mistakes along the way, and then finally growing into like their sophomore and junior year, they became really, really good basketball players. And then on to their senior year, where it really looked like they really was, one of the best backcourts, if not the best backcourt in the state. Uh, and as far as the work that they did, man, I'm forever grateful for having two kids like that uh, on the same team, man, who complement each other so well. Who the first couple of years made me scratch my head, and because I know they had to grow up, but I knew I had two young bulls that once they get there and by mid sophomore year, junior, senior year, man, I knew we was gonna be fine plenty of nights because I knew I could go on the court. A lot of other guys, was around them too, man. That a lot of people don't see and who didn't get credit. A kid like DeMarcus Milton uh, he graduated with them as well. He was our glue guy, man. Our Draymond Green, Andre Iguodala type. So he's a guy who don't get a whole lot of credit, but he was our captain. I think maybe his junior and senior year. Over those two very good talents, he was the one who kept us all together, man. And then a guy like DeMarcus Eaglin, Potato, the little small one, he was, that was time, man. I never forget. It was a game we were playing in Cecilia, and he looked me in my eye and told me some words, but he basically told me, "Give me the ball, coach." That's basically what and I looked him in the eye. I was like, "Oh, Titus Devondre, y'all got to move out the way. Like he ready right now." And I've been trying to pull that out of him, and that was in a district game, man. But I've seen Potato shut down Jim since he was 5, 6 years old, man. Being the smallest little something on the court, playing bitty basketball, and anytime he do anything, the crowd go crazy. But that night, that he basically said, "I got this," and he carried us home, man. I think he finished with like 14 assists, something like that. That night, he just took over the game, scoring, passing the ball. But you know, even those two guys there that I could vividly remember, have left an impact too, because it's so hard to be a Titus. It's so hard to be a Devondre.
Right.
And we can all aspire to be a DeMarcus Eaglin, a DeMarcus Milton, guys who just work their butts off and play to their strengths. And that's what I try to tell kids, man. Not everybody is going to be the one who's going to shoot the ball, who's going to score the points, but everybody can defend. Everybody can box out. Everybody can rebound. Everybody can make the extra pass. If you work on that shot all the time, then shoot it. If you, I don't need you shooting a shot that you never work on.
Right.
If something that you think that you can do, show me that you can do it in practice. Put in extra work, and when it comes to the game, I'm gonna trust you to do it. And just some of those things like that, man. Those kids who were the earlier groups have left behind. Really, this year was one of those transition years because we didn't have a Titus, a Devon Drake, or DeMarcus Milton. We didn't have them, so we were searching for our identity a lot. And then who was supposed to be our next guy up, who we thought was Cameron Pierre, who was our third leading scorer as a sophomore. His sophomore year, he was a junior last year. He tore his ACL playing football, so he wasn't there. Then my point guard, Keyshawn Agason, who was more of a defensive guy, gave us energy his previous year. He had a bunch of injuries, so he played banged up, and he was one of my only had 3 seniors. So he was banged up a lot of the year. Then my other 2 seniors, they played their part and did all right, did what they could. Very serviceable guys. I appreciate their work that they put in, but going from where we was, and then to where we landed last year, I think we underachieved. A lot of people say that we did good. So many people thought that we were going to be horrible because we lost Titus and Devon Drake when knowing they weren't the whole team. We lost a lot with losing, Titus, Devon Drake. That could be 50 points on any given night.
Right.
But then you look at a guy like DeMarcus Milton, who was our glue guy, and then Cam, who was supposed to be our next guy up last year. So we had to really rely on young guys, really, who had never played. We did what we had to do, but I think this year, I don't want to speak too fast, but we gonna be all right. Cam's gonna be back. Some of those young guys got a lot of experience, and they just hungry now, man. And I think that's the biggest thing that they all learned from, like you said, those guys that came before them, just how to be hungry, how to keep working, and seeing that process of them maturing all the way through. And these young guys are getting their chance to actually be, it's their turn now. So that's the thing that they left. Just letting y'all know, hey, it's going to be some hard times, but keep grinding, put your head down, keep working, and y'all can be, at the top one day as well.
Facts. I want to say this too, man. Eaglin was a phenomenal point guard for you, man.
I'm missing, man. Look, I coached junior high ball for those 10 years, right? I had him for 4 of the last 4 years. I had him in the 5th grade. He was practicing with 7th and 8th graders. So 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. And then I had him 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. I had him 8 years, man.
Wow.
When he was on that next year, like I would kind of be lost in practice some days I'm where yet. Like I just because he was so many times, man, as talented as those 2 that you talk about he was that calming effect, man. I told him, man, I got to get him coaching with me. That's
gonna be awesome, man. That's really gonna be awesome. I think if memory serves correctly, playoff team this year, I think y'all got to maybe the quarterfinals.
Actually, the second round this year.
Round?
Previously.
What do you think was the defining moment in the season for you guys this past year?
Man, we were so inconsistent. I don't know if we had a defining moment, to be honest with you. And like I said, we really wanted to have Cam there, but with injury, and then our senior point guard wasn't available at all times to be his best. So I don't know if it was a defining moment. I like to think that the whole year was a good learning year, a good building year to what we're going to be coming up in the next few years. At full strength, with everybody focused and healthy. I think last year we could have actually got to the top 28.
Let me give you this tidbit real quick, okay? Just trust me.
I trust you to a certain extent, but I trust you.
A defining moment doesn't have to always be something that stands out in a positive manner. A defining moment can be that moment in your season where you say, "Well, damn, this why we went left."
Oh, we had so many of them. That's why I said we couldn't. It wasn't a defining moment. It was like as soon as we think we got it, it's like,
So do you know the rule about the double foul?
the new rule.
No, not the new rule. It's the
Double.
rule.
Talk to me.
There should never be a double foul call. You know why?
It's something that happened first.
One
Yeah.
happened before the other.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what you think in your mind. Something happened first to make things spiral badly. And so officials call double fouls, and even I've done it, to set a precedence and stop that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Stop it right now. But it's one person who said or did something first that caused the official to make them want to shut that situation down. But in order to teach the lesson, they give it to both parties. But when in actuality, it should never be a double foul call because one incident happened first.
So you want to know what was the incident that happened first?
That's what I want to know.
Got you. We can start by
and don't tell me Cameron Pierre, because you just said it was a team sport.
No, definitely. Well, I wasn't even going to say Cameron Pierre, but that probably was the biggest hit that we took. If we just going to be honest, shit. If we going to be honest, that was the biggest hit. But if I have to say a defining moment, probably was mid, probably about 10 games in, man. And the sophomore and the freshman guards that we had this year, I forget what game it was, but they both had a really good game. And I think the older guys kind of looked at them and be like, maybe these little guys are right. Maybe we can kind of trust them. They ain't tight as Devondre right now, not yet, but maybe we can trust them. And then you can start seeing us getting better. Still had some late game situations where we, turned the ball over, made bad decisions, just not being mature. But I think that probably was the defining moment to let us know that we can still be a formidable team. And I think throughout the year, we strive to get better and won a lot of games, lost some that we shouldn't have. Man, if I could think back, we probably lost at least a good 6 games under 3 points, under 4 or 5 points, something like that. And if we would have won those, they would have been huge wins, man. I'm talking about over, we lost to LCA by 2, Brobridge, who won our district by 1 maybe, Northside in their tournament. And all of those games, we were controlling the game, but just not having those, lead guys to say, okay, now it's time to grow up and be mature on the court in the fourth quarter and make sure that we make this right play. Sometimes we didn't make it and it cost us. But overall, if I had to say one defining moment, it was when the older guys really accepted the younger guys.
Okay. Understandable. I want to talk to you about something, but I'm going to defer on it because some people may not know how to take it.
Okay.
And so I know who you are as a man and as a coach because I watch people intently. I watch you with a purpose. Once my radar gets on you, I watch every move you make. I damn near try to count your breaths you take. Because I want to know. Now I want to know who you are as a coach. I want to know who you are as a player. I want to see your passion. I want to see your heart. I want to see your desire to be greater. And so I think that, like, I'm a weirdo in that fact because I love the game so much. What's the one thing that you can do to expand and grow? Because you guys are young now. You guys are flat out young now. I think the majority of your upperclassmen have gone.
Well, we actually gonna have 6 seniors this year, man.
Really?
We have 6 seniors. I think only 3.
How is it that you keep getting all these up? You recruiting?
Nah, man, we just keep growing them, man. We keep working, we keep building.
It don't seem like you. You graduated. What was it? about 5 or 6 when Devon Drake and them graduated. Then
5.
you had 4 after that. You only have 14 people on your team.
Man, we got 20 kids sometime. Varsity, we probably address anywhere from 12 to 14. But I mean, we got some freshmen laying in the back. We got some sophomores who you hadn't seen a whole lot.
Yeah, but I went to like 8 of y'all practices and back to back years. And
We
it don't seem like that many.
I can't show everything, man. Look, I'll tell
Jeez.
you right now, we got a secret weapon, man. I'm not even gonna say his name. He's a freshman last year, and didn't even play varsity. Like he might have got in like 2 games. He gonna be all right.
I'm really more impressed now. But my question is still, how do you improve and be better this up? Like, what's the plans for? uh Damn, y'all play next week.
Yeah, we play Saturday actually.
Yeah, y'all Saturday, June. What's June? What's June for at Beauchamp?
June is pretty much get better time, man. We're gonna play probably 30 games this summer, maybe a little bit more. Probably like 10, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I counted 7, but I'm gonna try to get a couple more JV games too. So varsity, we probably gonna play 30 games. JV, hopefully we can get about 10, man. And that's the biggest thing, man. Just getting in the gym and working. So it may look like, 10 a.m. workouts in the weight room with our strength and conditioning coach, who, by the way, is phenomenal. He got us, man. That's a game changer right there. Having him for the last 2 years has changed a lot. But it may look like 10 a.m. to 11. The young guys, incoming freshmen, they'll get their work in. Then they'll head to the gym from 11 to 12 to work out with the coaches. And then our older guys that come in from 11 to 12, get their work in the weight room. Then they'll get their work in the gym from 12 to 1. And I think we got all Mondays and Thursdays off pretty much that we're not playing. But Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, some Saturdays, we're trying to play at least 2 games a day. We have our own team camp at the end of the summer, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But I think we got 12 games per day. We got a bunch of teams coming through. And then the next week, we're doing our own version of our St. Landry Parish tournament over the summer on the Monday and Tuesday. And then we're going to end off by going play in another team camp. So, I mean, we got a lot going on, man. And it's just about the work, man. I mean, June, we're going to stay in the gym. We might have total 6 days off, if that. And they gave us the go to practice, man. So now we really with it. And that's all we've been doing, man. Just grinding. This week has been great. We've been getting it in. A lot of skill training, a lot of back and forth on the court, seeing who ready to step up. A lot of guys want new roles this year. And I love it, man. I love the competition.
Man, I can't wait to see what's up next. I watched from afar this year, but it's a kid. I'm really like he had some phenomenal games this year. Um, I think his name. I think his name's CJ. I'm really looking forward to seeing his progression. I know that he's a gym rat junkie, like the guy that coaches him. Uh, so all that equates to greatness. Uh, I need you to do me a couple of favors before I let you go. And the first one is tell one of my favorite principals in the state, Miss Tiffany Etienne. I said hi.
Definitely.
Next, tell Miss Faye
Maybe.
Legger.
Yeah,
Lee,
yeah.
you know I ain't Creole, man. Stop that.
I know that. You can't call right.
Tell Miss Faye I said hi. Tell them I missed them.
We'll do. We'll
Soccer coach.
man, my guy.
Yeah, tell my dude the soccer coach I miss him.
Gotcha.
Tell Coach Lewis
Oh yeah, yeah.
one love. Man, y'all a family to me, man. Beauchamp, be it basketball, soccer, football, graduations. You know, this first year in 3 or 4 years that I didn't do Beauchamp's graduation.
Right, right.
And so you guys mean the world to me. I never take friendships and relationships for granted. Sorry that we went over. Um, it's been fun,
Right.
but like like a good wine, the bottle gets empty sometimes.
I'm gonna need a Powerade.
Hey, I was, I was drinking my coffee, man. I needed to get warm, man, and so I don't know. I've been cold all day, like so. When I get really cold, I drink coffee, and it's coffee that's made from love.
That's it.
Coffee made from love, man.
Well, I'm drinking
You
Gatorade.
was drinking, was
Gatorade. You know, they should pay me for that too. Maybe they might give me a deal.
Well, hey, raise that bottle back up, coach. Was drinking.
Yeah, was drinking.
Oh, past tense.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, I gotta acknowledge Southern Jag 05. I missed his first comment. He said, class of 01 Gator right here. Wish you luck, coach. This Hardy boy. Shout out, Hardy boy. Thank you for watching.
Danny
I
Hardy.
think you watched pretty much the whole interview, Hardy boy. We appreciate your support. Hey, hit that share button, Hardy boy. We appreciate it, man. One of my favorite young coaches in the state, and he's just a coach. He doesn't put a title on it. That was me that did that. He just wants to coach and help kids, and his love and passion for his community is beyond reproach. Because he lives it every single day. Like he picks kids up, he takes kids home, and he feeds them and gives them nice Beauchamp Gator gear to wear in between. Yeah, they be clean. I don't know if I like that green. I like the blue Beauchamp gear.
Man, everybody love the green, man. I'm telling you, they love.
I ain't no Hunter Green fan, man. I ain't no Hunter Green fan.
Only special occasions, you know. I was coming on with you, so
Hey, all right. This one I'm gonna do then, just for you.
Okay.
I'm gonna get a Hunter Green Prep News shirt made.
You can do the blue and orange, but I'm just saying I wouldn't.
I'm a rock that one just for you, cause I'm a colorway guy. I love the different colorways.
Right.
So we're gonna go green and orange, and there's a couple other schools that are green and orange, so it'll support them too as well. Hey, thank you for coming on tonight's show, being the featured guest of the day. Had a lot of fun, man. We got to learn a lot about who Chris Charlot is, what he believes in, and man, just keep growing IQs, keep growing basketball players. And I promise you, before you know it, you're going to be the guy that people are going to be calling, if they aren't already calling, saying, hey, man, how do I get this out of this? And in basketball may be the only sport that you can't get blood out of a turnip. That's real spill. So, hey, you guys, thank you. Tomorrow we have another prep athlete. He's grown up to be a really phenomenal athlete. KT Turo, Parkview Baptist Eagles out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Join us tomorrow evening. Again, thank you, Chris Charlot.
Thank you for having me.
Beauchamp Gators basketball. Thank you. Remember, get off the bench, get into the game.